placebo or whatnot, having that extra confidence for having that run, that means a lot.
Does it get worse though when what if this is an 8-hour
Well, that's
game?
breaking momentum.
Yeah, like.
I would say though, I would rather like have the peace of mind that everything worked as intended and you just pause, because that's always what I've told my players. If there's anything that you find strange, you just pause. It's better to make sure, because after the fact, if you walk away from a game knowing that maybe there was something in place that was strange or something like this, I think that's tough to go along with. Like we had that situation at Worlds.
Was that last year as well? Wasn't that the Rise as well?
Yeah,
the Rise Ultimate.
And then it turns out there's like this LoL wiki entry that if you are in the portal but you click out of the portal, you don't TP with the portal, and we paused twice for it. And we didn't know about this interaction. I've played a million Rise games.
I've always found it weird how to but that's the thing, because in the game if you read a tooltip, you think, okay, this is it. And then you go on Wikipedia and something like that, and it's like, oh no, there's actually way more to it that you can't read in the game.
I have an update, and we're going to an interview as well. But for those of you just joining, at 32:27, G2 Broken Blade paused the game, reporting a bug with his W not proccing, which may have resulted in Tahm Kench reviving. League officials are reviewing, and as they review, Laura is backstage with Mad Lions' strategic coach, Pat.
Thank you, Shox, and Pat, thank you for joining me during this really long pause. It's been a long day already for you guys. I know that you haven't been able to talk to your players, but you were just telling me that you've been able to hear what they were saying to each other. Tell me about the mood during this pause, how they're keeping it together and maintaining the energy levels up.
I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Obviously, the game state is in a winning position, so it's probably a lot easier for our guys to keep the spirits up. And on the backside, with the coaching staff, we're having a lot of fun, because like G2 never wants to remake games, and this game probably shows why.
Oh, well, that's the first for them, of course. Tell me about the shift between first game and second game, because the desk was talking about the fact that the draft is fairly similar, but the execution was different. How did you adjust in game specifically?
So when we came out of the game, I was just asking the players how they were feeling, if they were feeling like the skirmishes were going well, if the bloodbaths were going well, and they felt like they were going really well, right?
Awesome.
We had a few whoopsie daisies, but as long as the players feel like skirmishing versus G2, we're going to draft anything that can skirmish.
What was the preparation coming into today, knowing that G2 is unpredictable, but it's easier to beat them as it was before? So tell me about prepping for this best of 5.
I think, honestly, prepping for this best of five was a lot more about us focusing on us, making sure that we were in a good spot, making sure that we were enjoying playing League of Legends, making sure that we were playing the League of Legends we wanted, and much less about G2. Because when we played them in best of 5 last time, we had run out of energy. But we are here today and we are full of energy.
And hopefully, the energy stays like this. I know that a couple weeks back we saw a video from Mad Lions that, let's say, triggered some stuff online, on the side of Niski especially, because of some interactions that him and Yoya had backstage. Can you tell me about the energy within players and between players backstage, how they help each other also getting motivated and keeping their spirits up, and basically the synergy between all of them?
Yeah, I think that was like a big breaking point for the team, right? Yeah. Recognizing that we weren't actually like a united front, and from that day onwards, we've put such an emphasis on making sure that like we are kind to each other, that we want to help each other, and we want to get the best out of each other. We want to play with each other, and that's exactly what we have backstage now. I think anyone who walks past us, like when we're in the backstage rooms, will hear Spanish music or English rap or anything like that, because we are having a great fucking time together. Oh.
No one noticed. I recommend you guys check Shox's Instagram, because you guys were blasting music before the game. Very entertaining on our perspective as well. Who chooses the music, and what is the mood before the games and before you guys go on stage?
So it's either our performance coach Jake, who will put on any form of English rap, or it's Yo-Yo blasting Spanish music, or it's the whole team getting together and making sure that Chase is listening to whatever he wants to listen to.
We need a Mad Lions playlist soon. I hope you can set this one up, Pat. Thank you so much. We're going to resume again shortly. Thank you for joining me. Best of luck on the rest of the series, and casters, back to you.
For those of you just joining us, thank you very much, Laura, by the way. At 32:27, G2 Broken Blade paused the game, reporting a bug with his W not proccing, which may have resulted in Tahm Kench reviving. League officials are reviewing. Now League officials have confirmed that it is not a bug, and we will be playing on the game.
I wonder who's going to win. Mad Lions, 4v0 on the Nexus.
Who's going to do it?
Let's hot drop into this one,
Akshan
because this is going to be the quickest end ever. Oh my god, the game just started!
Madness! Akshan can only revive.
Look at Niski!
While he's alive.
He's sweating!
And he wasn't alive.
Right.
So there we go. That's the end of the game. Mad Lions, 1-1 now.
In my mind, just the cannon looks like maybe not the poison to pick here, because two games with very dominant performances. So I feel like the red side team should, in theory, from here on out, remove the cannon, which again leaves something else open now. We actually see the Rakan ban here on blue, which I think is a good step for G2 to remove the combo from Carsey and Hilly.
Well, this time around, Jace is open, so Jace could be an answer into cannon. That could be the change-up. But G2 is also a team that likes to play the Jace. We might see the direction where maybe G2 goes for the Jace variant, but here with Maokai being banned, Jace definitely becomes weaker. The Jace-Maokai combo is definitely...
I think if both are open, it will be a Jace first pick, because Jace is supposed to be good into the cannon, so it could be a situation where you first pick the Jace, okay, they ban the cannon.
Okay.
But it could have been a situation where you first pick the Jace, enemy team doesn't really want to take the cannon, you take it as well and put the Jace mid. But here we have the Annie now, which is for the first time open this series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Annie is definitely something that in my mind is giga broken, but I believe that G2, this is the first time they lock it in, and I understand why Mad Lions wanted to test those waters and see if G2 picked up the Annie, but they just slam it, and it's something that can be put support, can be put mid, and synergizes so well with the current state of things in terms of how the floor of the game is around Dragons is super, super strong.
I think Jinx is a good pickup here, sorry, because Rakan is now out, so Jinx rises in priority because there's no Rakan answer. The question now for G2 is, do they want to take the Thresh away and pair it with an Aphelios, or do they want to flex perhaps something like the Malphite, because Malphite is supposed to be decent into Jace, and they also play it on both lanes. Caps plays Malphite and so does Broken Blade, so it could be something you flex here, keep it till 4-5 and force the enemy team to last pick whatever solo laner they haven't chosen.
Oh, this is very interesting. This
big surprise for G2, because they're not necessarily a Seri team. They played one game this year so far against us and lost that game, so I am a bit surprised they go this route. I feel like Thresh Aphelios would be more G2-esque.
Why is it that Zeri, Lulu, or maybe Zeri is not G2-esque?
Because Hansama has just historically not been that strong on it, and they've played just one game, as Reckless mentioned. And same thing for Mickey. He's kind of avoided the Lulu and played it only once with Varus, and that was the game that they lost against SK. So this is definitely a new look, and they're showing right away that this Annie is going to go mid lane. So they just match with the Gragas, and probably Jace is going to go top. They're going to ban some top lanes that are good into it.
Probably Malphite will be out
sure,
here, yeah.
And then just Gragas mid. This is looking quite good for Mad Lions, I have to say.
Malphite, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not really sure what to play into the Jace now. I feel like it usually is a tank, especially if you have Seri Lulu in your team, because then it's all about Hansama in this case, so you don't really want a strong side top lane anymore. But Jace is such a strong laner that if you do end up picking something that is too weak, he will just take over the game. So it's going to be a tricky time here for Broken Blade to find a pick after 2 bans as well.
It's definitely a throwback to the finals, because even though Mad Lions lost those games, Chasey was in incredible positions. He was so strong, and Mad Lions couldn't close out, so it's going to be interesting how they approach it. I think another layer of this, it's going to be interesting how they approach the jungle bans, because currently Vi is out. I wonder if Jitsu is going to ban Wukong, and then maybe we have a scenario where, of course, Viego gets picked again for Yike. But I think if Wukong is open, it's not something that you want to play into, but then again, it's Yike on Viego, so might just work anyway.
Kind of surprised they're not banning Thresh yet, because to me, Nautilus is way easier to deal with and also a weaker champ in general right now than Thresh is, so I would rather play against Nautilus than Thresh. But maybe they feel like that laning phase is going to be so good for them, because it's easier to take cleanse than whatever summoner you would take against the Nautilus, because there's not really something good. At least here with the Seri you can take cleanse if the Thresh were to be locked.
But POV playing versus Hilly.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to give Hilly Thresh. I would rather give him Nautilus.
No, but 3 bans already, and then he still gets Threshes. You know.
I mean, Rakan and
Rel.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
it's kind of Thresh, but it's a robot.
It's a very hard lane,
Yeah.
I would say, for Mad here, but they do have the X Factor with the hook later in the game, and similar to how the Nautilus works, you can't really pick a good summoner against Blitzcrank. Against Thresh, you can pick the cleanse, and worst case, if you do get hooked, you can just cleanse it out.
Yeah.
Against Nautilus and Blitz, there is no way out. If you do end up getting hooked, you're gonna die. So Hilly has the X Factor in this one.
Here, the tricky thing here is just that I was surprised that they didn't look for the Wukong on 4, but Gragas is a flex that could be sent into jungle, and maybe we get a Cassiopeia on 5 here against this very short-range composition on blue side.
There should be a tank top as well, so Casio on
Nope.
5
Whoa.
dodge.
Darius into Jace.
That's a scary matchup.
Adam has just changed the meta completely. Just,
Yeah.
just freaking Darius.
But is that laneable top? Darius versus Jace if you don't get a cheese early?
He's been watching
looks
Adam. I don't know what
It
to
feels
tell
like
you.
a matchup where you have to ghost on him level 1 and get a really good trade going otherwise.
And you have Velvet jungle as well. Maybe they're going to go for split map. They send Sejuani in the jungle here and Gragas mids. I thought maybe they're going to send Gragas and then pick Cassia on 5 because enemy is so short range. But on paper here, I think this looks kind of good for Mad Lions because I think this Darius is kind of out of place. Unless G2 are doing some crazy level 1 invade where they're split mapping and kind of pressuring with Darius and Velvet.
Darius goes in some way level 1.
Pretty
because
much,
this
yeah.
top lane matchup is probably not playable if it's just a stale game, especially if Velvet has to go bot side at some point to farmer camps. So I agree with you. Level 1 invade top side is probably the way to go. Try to get a split map situation where Jace is suffering and maybe even getting dove.
But
I
if you
imagine this
see
Darius
it-
does not have TP, so this needs to be a good game for G2 up until the point it
Hill
has
is
to
the
be
type of guy to
first base.
join in. He's going.
Yep.
Maybe he's gonna go all the way and just commit to the red buff fight, and then he's blitzcrank there. Maybe there's a chess game where we're going to have a fight level 1. Maybe nothing is gonna happen at all, and this Darius will slowly bleed. But he has some windows with the ghost for sure. But I think Chasey can definitely maneuver around that on the Jace.
And you said it there a bit earlier. Chasey. Wait, yes.
Yes.
Whatever. He was really good. He's generally really good when he plays it, but especially in that winter split run. So it's something to feel comfortable on for the Mad Lions. And according to my analysts, they have the better cards going into the game. But what G2 can do well is subvert expectations. Let's see what happens in Game 3.
And into the depths of Summoner's Rift we fall once again. Level 1 invade, a possibility. Hello everyone. That's Vedi in the middle still, hiding behind the ribbon. You can see G2 setting up because there's a blitzcrank on the enemy team, and this is what you have to do. When there's a blitzcrank on the enemy team, make sure that you can't be invaded.
I like that we're taking it in turns this time. Normally it's just a brawl.
Oh, you often say League of Legends is a turn-based game. You reset, you get tempo, you push back out. Seems like crowd chanting is a turn-based game as well. Mad Lions fans out in a bit more force than I expected, I'll be honest.
Definitely are. Is Yike invading topside? Looking at the timer and looking at where that jungler is, he's walking into those raptors to try and take them away while El Yoyo's on red. I can tell you that for a fact. This is the Kane Classic. If anyone plays solo queue against Kane jungle, ward your entrance, Raptors, because this is what happens. Velvet can do the same thing. And now Yoya has to start on Krugs. Or is he going to the enemy blue? He's...
Nope, he's just
Krugs
really
haven't spawned
spawned in a second.
He's really sad.
But can... Okay, interesting. So Yike will go to Krugs and see Krugs are down, and then he'll be a bit mind-blown, I feel like. So...
Broken Blade trading with Chasey up towards the
Can
top
El
side.
Yoya level 2
much
gang top from this?
damage.
Can El Yoya level 2 gang top from this? This would be sneaky if he does.
Yike's is going to come around the corner. Elio
gonna
might
fight
just
him.
look to fight him. Looking
Does he
for
win
the
those?
passive. Do you win these? Yike currently dashing back in, trying to get a couple of auto attacks in, but in the end, it looks like Elio will just work his way down towards
I mean,
the
he
bottom
has
side.
to
Yike's
know,
going to
yeah.
track him.
Yeah.
He's on a ward. Void Surge.
Yeah.
A little bit of extra damage.
El Yoya's shown his hand. He's shown that he's taken Krugs only, and now Yike can decide if he wants to... No.
No.
Level 2 gang.
No.
Here, Mickey's on his way.
No! He's not
Elio
gonna
is
do the
staying
thing,
around.
is
No.
he?
Is he gonna...
No. No? No.
Okay.
No.
I thought he was gonna run across
Same.
to El
I
Yoya's wolves.
legitimately thought he was gonna run across the towers, do the thing, the Kennen thing.
Do the thing.
He's,
Yeah.
he's slightly too high unit
What
size,
is going
I
on?
believe.
Is Hilly pinging for a kill here? Niski's on the way, but he's so he's gonna have to go away now. A lot of action. Broken Blade.
Dree has the apprehend, knocked back. Chasey keeping his distance.
His W was 1 second away as well. So, El Yoya loses his red and Raptors. I don't think he's going to be able to get any camps in return. Maybe he can look for a level 3 gang towards mid-bot if there's a lot of action happening. He has a Blitzcrank lane to play around. Yike ideally wants to keep power farming. You can see how Yike didn't do his blue and Grob, because he's trying to match El Yoya towards his bot side, I feel like. match him on this bot crab. If he was to clear out his top camps, Elyoya would have a free crab, but I think he wants to fight it. See if he can, though, because bot push looks pretty in favor of Mad as they'll get to level 3 in a second.
Caps also sustaining heavy damage in mid. Means that it will be harder for him to fight. Of course, Nisqy very low on mana, but that's not necessarily a huge problem. Thanks to the W of Nisqy. You can see he's not afraid to walk up in the lane, can tank up a lot of harassment that Caps is trying to throw out, but it looks like Yike grabbed his blue, but this crab should die before he really gets an opportunity to contest.
He's a little late. Maybe he's not even looking for the crab. I think he is, though. He's going to see it's down. He's going to find Elyoya, but I don't think he can dash on him with the knockup. Should have the Q up here, Elyoya.
Could look to trade back in, holds it. Q's away in the end, with Caps going into the fog of war.
He's following him, he's just like...
Any camps? Any camps? This is what Bel'Veth loves. You know, get those Death in Lavender stacks up, get the extra attack speed. You can see the Bel'Veth stacks underneath Yike's name on the overlay as well. Track those.
And Yike's Gromp and Krugs are up at 4 minutes, which feels kind of weird, which part of the map he's going to go to. He might run topside here. Crab is up. Maybe trying to help Caps get this mid push so he can contest it. Broken Blade can make his way down.
Really smart here from Elyoya. He knows that Yike just tried to contest him on Crab, and now Elyoya, with 5 seconds on his smite, should be able to secure this one. They should have information as to where Yike is, though.
Yeah, Yike needs to take these Raptors, ideally, if he wants to keep punishing. I feel like if he doesn't get this Raptor respawn, he's kind of dropped the ball.
Hilly walks straight into them, flashes away the polymorph. Just a little bit late. And he was able to escape. Meanwhile, Yike trading with Elyoya up towards the top side. One more auto would be enough to get that stun off, but Nisqy tries to dash across the wall. Caps keeps him at bay, and Yike's going to step back in once again. Half HP on the Bel'Veth. And doing quite a lot of work, and he's been so impactful on this Bel'Veth across the course of the LEC. But there's the knockup. Yike stunned up, uses the E to try and get a bit of extra healing. One more auto would be enough, and Elyoya has to flash away, but Yike's coming back. First blood, trying for Elyoya. Broken Blade coming in as well as Nisqy looks for the cask. Broken Blade doing a lot. Has the red buff, has the blue as well. He trades onto Nisqy with a decimate. It's a double for the Darius, and now Chasey has to run because that ghost is not stopping anytime soon. Another decimate. One more auto is enough with the red buff with the bleed.
Should be all right there, Chasey, but Broken Blade saves the day. Yike really wanted those Raptors. He was contesting them for at least 30 seconds to a minute, and I think he realized he's blundered a bit too much, given over double crab despite taking his red and Raptors. Takes the fight anyway, gets really low, but just about procs the damage reduction before the E passive break.
Yeah, and then he sees that Elyoya is only a single hit away, lands the auto, hoping Caps can get the auto as well, but Annie's auto attack not fast enough. Broken Blade is able to block the Q from Jace and is able to get involved in the fight earlier than Chasey is, which means that he can get a lot of damage down onto Nisqy, and the sustained fight, Darius is always going to have the advantage thanks to the bleed passive. Is able to get that execution. Unfortunately for him, Apprehend, very long cooldown this early on into the game. Does what he can, auto attack Q, but realizes he can't overstay his welcome. So Broken Blade will pick up 2 kills. The boots early is going to give him a big advantage, but as Mad reset out on the map, they begin the dragon.
Yeah, those Blade Steel Caps will do a lot of work into the Jace lane. He has no boots, no flash. If you play around his phase rush, that's when you can really find kill threat. So Yike's up here, trying to look for some kind of play.
The other thing that happened is a big CS discrepancy building up in the mid lane. While all that fight was happening, we got to see it just as we cut away, but Caps had created a giant pushing wave towards him. So he basically had a very comfortable spot to hold the wave, with which Nisqy then, I believe, didn't have his teleport, so he had to walk back into lane, which results in this big discrepancy between the two. Caps should need to base now to actually spend some of that gold that he's been able to pick up, but even though Caps didn't get any kills, he did gain a lot of gold thanks to the wave state in mid.
Yeah, Broken Blade as well, getting a large lead up towards this top lane. The 2 kills obviously helping him. The wave state as well. You can see Yike trying to force Chasey away. No flash on the Jace made it difficult for him to push this wave in. But now with Elyoya waiting in the wings, Chasey should be able to finally get that wave towards Broken Blade's tower. Hansama trading onto Kazi down towards this bottom side, goes in with a lightning rush, dashes across the flame jumpers, and Kazi invests the flash before he sees his life flash before his eyes.
Hansama just leveraging his level advantage there, and they're able to force Kazi back. Finally, Hansama gets a bit of revenge. Kazi in the straight-up 2 versus 2 alongside Hylissang have been the bullies on the Xayah, and Hansama now able to gain a little bit more control in this 2v2.
You know why Hansama had that level lead? It's because Mickey roamed towards mid early on, remember? When he went up for that level 2, Hansama was able to get just a little bit more XP. You can see Kazi now up to level 6, makes it a bit more difficult for the G2 bot lane to really isolate Kazi. For the moment, though, they are in the ascendancy, as you say, Vedi. 1,300 gold lead for G2 through the first 8 minutes of this game.
Herald's up. I think that's so important when you have Bel'Veth on your team. Yikes finishing off the Krugs. Doesn't take over to level 6, but he's running up towards the top side now. Hilly is coming on a base towards the top side, I expect, as well. Mickey might be moving up there too, so could have some kind of 4v4 on our hands. Hansama's taking a base. We'll see if he takes a full lane swap to get there in time too, but he won't have access to that ultimate. Yike. See if he does Gromp first to make sure he does get that level 6. Elyoya is going to pick up the red. No level 6 on him. He's so close. He's going to take experience from the mid-wave here, so he can actually get access to that ultimate, I hope.
Is he in range?
Yeah, he should just be in range. I think he's trying to stay out of vision, but be in range of experience, so he'll ding over.
There we are.
And now, I think they're confident to take a fight. Both AD carries are on the way, but Hans is first. They might have to give up the objective here, Matt, but they might also want to take a fight.
Of course, Rift Herald so important for the Bel'Veth. Glacial Prism lands a hook away from Hilly.
Hilly.
Not often we see that, but because of that, Mickey able to walk away from it. Bel'Veth gets the true form, 180 seconds of increased stats, bonus movement speed, extra attack range. Yike is very happy with that exchange. Stun lands, hook onto Mickey. Niski can't really come across, but Elyoya can. Mickey flashes, flash forward from Hylissang, looking for the stun with the Fury to the north. Now Elyoya's having to get away from Hansama, who dashes across the wall and has already got the kill. Niski dying up towards the top side as well. Hansama's going to get 2 out of this, and Niski's fallen as well. It's superb for G2. They find 3 kills in the fray.
Hilly thought that Elyoya had flash. He went over that wall expecting the Sejuani to come with him and proc the E and get that kill, but he didn't have flash. So Hilly maybe overestimating how many resources the jungler of Mad Lions had next to him and committing to that fight, and G2 punish it.
Wow, G2 continue to dominate the early game whenever Yike gets his hand on this pick. Chasey though goes in, gets good damage on the caps.
Yike looking for an endless banquet, but Elyoya's on his way. Niski gets the stun, they knock him away.
No.
He hasn't got any more dashes, there's no way he gets away from this one. Elyoya just needs a couple of autos and Yike will fall to the Mad jungle.
So, a bit overzealous there from Yike, and Mad are able to get something back, but Broken Blade has just been free farming in the top lane. Elyoya and Hylissang looking as Chasey TP's in.
There's the Ghost. Flash still available for him as well, looking for the Permafrost stun. There's the Flash. Hilly, not in range. The Ghost enough to get out of that Q range.
The movement speed reduction applying the second half of the W meant that he couldn't quite get in range. Good flash there from Broken Blade. Did have to expend all of his summoners as Elyoya and Hilly worked together to punish the top side, but G2 find themselves still with a 3k gold lead. The Dragon spawns in about a minute's time. Let's look back at this play.
Hilly lands a good hook onto Mickey, but it's here that I think he must think that Elyoya has flash, because what happens here is he QWs and then he flashes over to proc the passive, and Sejuani will need to E-auto there. He gets polymorphed as well, but even after polymorph he can't follow, so now Elyoya is just kind of stuck there and dies. His support kind of left him. The 2v2 in favor of G2. I think Chasey's just arriving slightly late, and the cleanup crew happens. Hans gets 2 kills on the Zeri. You can see on the bottom left there he's getting massive amount of plates as well, so he's 1k gold up.
It's just massive advantages being gained across the board for G2.
Broken Blade trading in the top lane once again with the Apprehend. Building up that passive, 3 stacks on it at the moment. Decimate just short, couldn't quite find the edge of the X.
But Dragon now spawns in 10 seconds. Mad Lions were able to get to it first. Elyoya just short of level 7 as Yike ticks over to level 8. Niski trying to push in mid-wave. Cap should be able to catch this one, but with the bot push that G2 have, they have a way into the river. Now the question is, do the top laners get involved? No TP available for Chasey Little Mana as well. Looks like